Thank you so much, Amy. We're going to dive straight into some questions, and thanks to you all for making my job easy by sending in so many good questions. So we're going to jump straight to the top vote getter on Pigeonhole, and that is, why is it that God sometimes intervenes to end suffering and other times he does not?
I think that question is brilliant. That's a question I've asked a lot myself. If the argument that I'm making to you is that the reason that there's evil and suffering in the world is about our free will, how comes God sometimes appears to override that or mess with the system but doesn't do it kind of universally? And I think for Christians, the answer to that question is rooted in Jesus' teaching about the kingdom of God. Jesus taught that in him, as he entered history, the kingdom of God had arrived on earth. But he also spoke about God's kingdom as something future. One of the things I didn't have time to touch on was that the Bible looks at suffering through the lens of the past explanation, but also through the lens of the future. That there will be a day of judgment, that there will be a day of reckoning when all things are made right. And at that point, when there is a day of judgment, God will wipe tears from our eyes. There's a promise of ultimate eternal comfort. I don't know if you've ever wiped tears from someone's eyes. I did it yesterday. My 10-year-old was crying because he hadn't made a particular sports team he wanted to be in. Big, fat, gigantic tears pouring down his face. It's amazingly intimate to be there to do that as you embrace someone. That's the promise of what God will do for us at the end. But we live in this tension, which theologians called the now and the not yet. Jesus' kingdom has come, but it is also coming. So where we see miracles, where we see divine salvations and interventions that deliver us or rescue us in some way, those are the future, that promise, that reality of eternity where all is well breaking into the present. Now, how and why that happens is mysterious. The one thing we do know, though, is that that miracle occurring is not in any way related to our performance. There's no sense in which, okay, well, here's a really, really good Christian, and they're suffering, so because they've been extra good, or the people who prayed for them really, really prayed hard, they're going to be healed. But here's a slightly less good Christian, they're not going to be healed. It's absolutely not related to performance, but a miracle is a sign of that future reality breaking in that we're not in control of. It's a message from God to show us that this is true and real, not a badge of, well done you, you've performed well, you've got a miracle. So that's how I would understand it. It's in this tension of the past and the future, the now and the not yet.
Great, thank you. The second one, it's somewhat related to that. I have it both on a card and on Pigeonhole, and